Tottenham Hotspur 4, Newcastle United 1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Tottenham are back! Welcome to Paxton TV, PRTvSpurs. As mentioned, Spurs 4, Newcastle United 1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Joining me to do the review is the one and only at Sam Spurs for Life and Mr. Sean Hurl. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we feeling? Are you as ecstatic as I am? And there's going to be a lot of swearing, so please, if you don't want to hear any swearing, come on here, because we're going to be fucking swearing. 4-1 to Spurs. How you feeling, boys?
Yeah, oh god, I'm all right. Like I said, I've got a new way of thinking about the games now in terms of Spurs. Like I said, after the manager, not going to get too overly gassed, but not going to get too, deep in the dumps. As I said, I expected it to be a Spurs victory today based on the stats that we had, and scoring first again today, you're not going to go that many games without. So everything kind of conspired for us to win today. I was surprised by not so much the lack of fight from Newcastle, but they seem to just didn't have any energy. But again, that comes back to their injuries. But yeah, happy for the win, and we go on to the next game. We're in touch.
Cool. Sean, are you as ecstatic as Sam is?
Yeah, well, as I keep saying, never too high, never too low. One or two things annoyed me, and we'll probably discuss them. But there was a fluency about our play today. A lot of players gave their best performance in a number of weeks. Looking at our number 8, when I say that,
yes,
and I think, a chance to avenge last season's St James's Park massacre was not taken, I think. But you can't complain. 4-1 at home, comfortable, never really challenged. But yeah, always room for improvement. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of stuff. The lineup, Spurs performance, individual players' performances, Newcastle United's performance as well. I was listening to it on the way home from after the game, and they were coming up with excuses, but then they were saying, well, it's not really an excuse, because at the end of the day, yes, they have got a depleted squad, but you've got to give credit to Spurs. Spurs played really well. Newcastle are tired. They've got this and they've got that. And I'm like, well, that's what happens when you come into the big boys departments and you got Champions League and you got to play games Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever you got to do. It is what it is, right? But you know what? Credit where credit's due, and we'll talk about Spurs' performance as well. But it's also very interesting. Guys, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Ange watches PRTvSpurs, Paxton Road TV preview shows? Would you?
No, I don't think he gives us a second thought.
I'm just saying, because,
He may get told about it by the press officer, but
yeah.
I very much doubt that he actually watches any of the podcasts, because he's been in the game for 40 odd years.
Listen, I'm just trying to get some credit here. Credit. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get some credit. But anyway, guys, let's get straight into it. So, 4-1, as it was to Tottenham Hotspur. And it would help if I did put that up on there for you. And then we'll discuss, obviously, performances, players, team, whatever. But let's get this nitty-gritty out of the way first. Right, so possession, 57% possession. They had 43%. I've never seen a Newcastle United team in the last couple of seasons have 43% possession but didn't do absolutely anything with that possession. Shots, 23 to Newcastle United's 9. Shots on target, 12. Tottenham, Newcastle had 3. So they had a third. We almost had half. Corners, 3 to 6. I've changed it up a little bit, guys, today. Big chances, 7. They had 3 big chances. We missed 3 big chances. They missed 2 big chances. Accurate passes, 447 to Tottenham, 86%. That's almost half of what we had against West Ham. They had 319, 83%. The XG was 3.88, 1.69. Sam, happy with that?
There's nothing really dissimilar to any of the games that I've seen most of the time this season from our perspective on that side. Probably possession-wise, Newcastle did have a bit more of the ball, but again, it was all about when the goals were scored. So you go in at 2-0 at half-time, as I said, that's a lead which you would, on 95, I would say, more than that, win the game. You know, you shouldn't even lose the game. So it's almost like 100% you should lose the game. Well, we know it's happened. But yeah, so once that happened, I think we was going to be comfortable. Yeah, it was a little bit shaky in that first part of the second half, which is probably where I think the majority of the Newcastle possession did come from in that sense, because they were trying to go for it. And they tried to still play the same way as they have been playing all season in terms of that, going for it. But their players just lack the legs. We cut them apart at times in terms of our passing, and those stats don't look any dissimilar to the games that we've seen previously. The biggest thing is obviously we took our chances today, and we had more chances to actually kill that game. I think our XG was close to 4, and theirs was about 1 or something like that. It was just over 1. So yeah, good performance from the strikers today.
Yeah. We'll talk about that more in depth as well when we do the team. Sean, you agree with Sam? Nothing really
Yeah, I mean, you know, we actually have less possession than we did against West Ham on Thursday night. And, you know, but this time we were much more clinical. It was interesting to see at Ange's post-match press conference where he kind of I don't know, kind of rolled back a bit on his criticism. And he said that he was maybe a bit harsh on the team. But yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to take your chances, and today we did. And we fashioned really good chances, you know. I mean, if you consider that Johnson hit the post twice, once the first half, once the second half. Skips nearly had a chance there at the end where it was smothered by the keeper. Difficult chance, but yeah. Interesting though, I mean, you obviously wouldn't have seen this on the TV, but or rather in the stadium, but it was incredible the amount of sympathetic commentary was given to Newcastle about their injuries.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, you know, it's like for the last month we've had exactly the same situation, and it's naive. It's this. It's, you know, it's honestly this media narrative against Tottenham is really starting to get in my stick in my throat, and yeah, so I was so glad that we won the game and won it comfortably, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this on the preview show yesterday, didn't we? And I showed you the injury list. Yes, they've got one hell of an injury list, but at the end of the day, injuries happen. You've got to deal with it. Had they not, well, they've been winning a lot of games and they've been playing Champions League, right? Had they not lost to Everton and whatever the before, they won't be saying that. They would have been saying, obviously, you know, yes, they're on a roll. This is Newcastle United, blah, blah, blah. On my way home, I was listening and they were even whining at Kevin Trippier, saying he's not been at it for the last couple of games. He's poor, this, that, the other. Obviously, we're not here to talk about that. But you're right, Sean. It seems like they're not reflecting on how good Spurs were and how we brushed them off. They're more sympathetic to them because they were weak. They've got injuries. But at the end of the day, you go and play the team with what you've got. End of. Right. So yesterday, guys.
Just to add to that, I could have a bit of sympathy with Newcastle. I think we should have a bit of sympathy. If we was in their position playing Champions League football, I don't think we'd be as high as them in the league, and I don't think we'd probably be doing as well in the Champions League. He's done a bloody tremendous job. They've run out of legs, and like I said, we are a very good team in possession. So again, that's why I expected that. But I ain't gonna jump on Newcastle. But the media does what they do. They've been doing that about us for ages, about Harry Kane. We've all seen that, so I don't even listen to them about that. But I think it's a little bit unfair to say Newcastle, you know what I mean? They should be whining and get on with it because they've got a massive game.
But Sam, that commentary was dreadful today.
Oh yeah, it always is.
Honestly, that was particularly bad, and that's why it has to be mentioned. The amount of sympathy given to Newcastle was out of order. Out of order by Sky.
Alan Smith on the bloody games, because that's when I used to get really pissed off. They used to put Alan Smith on all our bloody games. Every single time I used to watch Spurs, it was Alan Smith, and he was Spurs, and then you could almost hear it in his voice. That's what pissed me off. Gary Neville, I can deal with him, but he's again, they're all very much like Spurs. 1 minute they're saying he's naive, and next minute saying what a great Jamie Redknapp today as well. He's now crowing, what fantastic, great. And a few weeks ago, that geezer was bloody, I don't know about this Tottenham team and this and that. So, sorry, I'm not even going to get into the media side of things, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out about Newcastle. That's all.
But do you know what it is, right? They get paid to do their job, right? So they're doing their job, yeah. So, sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Can you hear me? All right.
We can hear your screen's frozen, but we can hear you.
All right, listen, Sam, just take over for 2 minutes. I'm just going to switch off and come back on, yeah?
Is it just me now? Looks like it's just me. Are we still here live?
I'm still here.
What's going on? I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, let's try and continue, because I actually did have some things in case something did happen. Let me see if I can present the slides or the share screen. Oh dear, back to the days of sharing screen, eh?
Dear. Good stuff.
Here we go. All right, then let's do this. Anyway, like I was saying, I think, Newcastle, although they huffed and puffed a little bit, I didn't think they were going to ultimately cause us any problems really today. And I'm glad that Spurs managed to just get that victory. That was all that mattered today. Don't you believe, Sean? That was the biggest thing, was to get the result.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We got the second goal before half-time, but even then, I'm going mad in the pub. I'm jumping from one foot to another. Saying, we came out lapsadaisical, just like we did against West Ham in the second half, just after half-time, and we let them back into the game. And I just thought, are we going to do this again? And you just knew I turned to my mate Tom, who's in the comments there, and I said, if they score one and it's 2-1, it's 2-2. 2-2 is going to night follows day. Thankfully, we got the third goal, and that kind of eased the pressure. But there's still some things that I was not happy about.
Do the other thing as well? Yesterday we talked about the lineup, right? And we were saying, what could it be, right? And for once, he's got the balls to do it. He's obviously, we could tell Postecoglou was pissed on Thursday. We could tell that Son was pissed on Thursday, right? I think they've had a proper heart-to-heart, or something's happened, and they said, obviously, you know what, fuck this shit. We need to fix up. And they fixed up. He put Richarlison up top. He put Son to the left, which we were crying out for. Johnson on the right. And I'm not going to lie, guys, from the stadium, that was the best performance from a front three I've seen all season. They were immense. And Son, don't know what happened to him today, but man, God, he was on fire. Trippier didn't know what was coming with him today. I thought the front three, and plaudits to Postecoglou for changing it, and Kulusevski as well. What did you think of the change up then?
I thought it was obvious. There was some obvious change. Like, the biggest thing for me, it wasn't even so much the front three changes in terms of that playing Johnson on the right. I think that was a massive call today, because that's his best position anyway. Kulusevski, that was a big decision, because he could either have tried to keep Lo Celso in the team, who I felt was doing pretty well, but I knew that Sarr had to come back into that team. And for me, Sarr is one of the. If you look back now at the games where, obviously with the Maddison side of thing, when Sarr went out, as I said, I don't think Basuma's been playing well. I've been racking my brain. And I kind of said to you in the last stream that we did, I think with Basuma, he needs somebody like Sarr who's got more legs that makes him look better. He's a good player anyway, but he looks
Yeah.
better if somebody's, because he still gave the ball away. I don't think Basuma had his best game today, but he was better than he has been. But Sarr, for me, he's come in and just played absolutely brilliant and made that midfield now tick. So you can now have that option of playing Kulusevski in there or Lo Celso in there, and there's a bit more rotation in the team. If Richarlison can play in that number 9 and score, brilliant. Because we know that Sonny can go inside and he can go to the touchline, which is brilliant, because on the other side, Johnson could do exactly the same thing. He could go round, but he could also cut inside, because he does like to jink inside as well. And Porro, I think Porro's been our best player for the last, in terms of consistency, for the last 5 matches, in terms of when we've been on a bad streak.
So today, right, I'll come to you, Sean, in a second. Today, I've never seen us, and we discussed this yesterday. I don't know whether you, Sean, or Sam, or somebody said, use the byline, use the byline. How many times did we use the byline? For once, the ball was going out of play because they were going for the byline that many times that the ball kept going over a few times. Obviously, just the first touch put it over. But the amount of times we did that, and we caused them so much trouble, because they weren't expecting Johnson and Son to literally, go past them down the touchline to put the balls into the box. And Richarlison being in there, I mean, we should have had a hatful, absolute hatful. Sean, was you not surprised with the change-ups, and was you expecting that kind of a performance from them?
Yeah, no, I suppose I wasn't overly surprised with the change-ups. I did feel that Kulu would play wide again, but he persevered, and I'm getting to that point now. I don't want Kulu in any other position.
Yeah,
I want him in that kind of just behind the front three. I mean, there was one absolutely exquisite pass to Porro in that second half. Which again, we could have scored from. I thought, and a big up for you for getting Romero's name right on the slide there. Although you did you managed to swap Son and Johnson the wrong way around, but we'll let you off with that one. But I absolutely 100% agree with Sam. Basuma seems to like the protection that Sarr gives him, and he responded today, and that's what I wanted, because I was starting to lose it with Basuma, and he was doing my head in with his his dillying and dallying. You know what I mean? But he had his best performance in certainly since Luton, I'd say. But I can't find fault with any of the players.
No.
Every player that started, every player that came on contributed to that victory today. But I want to have a special shout out for Richarlison.
Yeah, we'll.
Richarlison had an incredible game. Incredible game.
And do you know what? Talking of Basuma, right? There was a few things that he done today, and I'm like, that's the old Basuma. Yeah, that's the old Basuma. But, and I put it on our group, the levels, and this is, I'm talking from not watching games on the TV. I'm watching it from when you're actually in the stadium, like you two are, but you've not, unfortunately, for the last 2 games. The levels of difference when you've got Sarr compared to Højbjerg, and you know what? It's heaven and earth. Honestly, today watching Sarr, it was like, wow, this guy. And Basuma must have thought, thank fuck for that. I've got Sarr next to me today, because it gave him the freedom. But Sarr was phenomenal today. And had Højbjerg started, I don't think we would have had any kind of joy as we did today. I think Sarr, he was half fit. I don't know. I'm assuming so, because he took him off as well. I think him and Basuma, and I agree with what you said, Sam and Sean, Basuma needs that protection. And I think he sees the protection in brother Sarr, because Sarr gave him everything today. And honestly, that free Kulusevski today, and I agree with you, Sean, and we'll talk about these lot as we go along. At the end, we'll talk about individual performances. But one thing I do want to say, we keep going on about having probably the best fucking left back in the world. I'm not joking. I think we've probably got the best fucking right back in the world at this precise moment, because Pedro Porro, wow. We'll discuss that later on. we'll discuss that later on. But
it's a bit of a misnomer that saying that the best left and right fullbacks in the world, because they don't actually play in those positions.
I know,
so it's a bit of a misnomer. They're probably they're very good midfield players. That's what's good about them. They can play in midfield.
Yeah,
they're brilliant.
And my worry, and my boy said this, my worry is Man City are sitting there thinking, Pep's thinking, these two are my guys. These two are my kind of players that can go inside, outside, and do everything. That's the worrying thing for a couple of years.
Yeah, like I said, in this system they seem to be brilliant, because remember I was certainly questioning Porro last season in terms of his fullback abilities, in terms of that wing back. Could he be a wing back? I was like, he's only a wing back. I don't think he's a fullback, because I don't think he can defend. So this position for him is brilliant, because he can be very versatile in terms of attacking. I actually think he's getting better in his defensive duties as well. Udogie is just a man mountain for the age that he is, and he's only going to get better. And let me just go back to that Basuma and Sarr thing.
Yeah.
What the difference was today with, even if Højbjerg was in there, I still think we would have created as many chances as we did. The difference is we can certainly go into transitions a lot quicker and better. We can certainly recover the ball a lot quicker and better. And also, you know, when Basuma does give the ball away, there's no way that, you know, Højbjerg is going to get there. And this, I watched one today. Sarr absolutely just sprinted back, and he gets back into position. So it minimises the opportunities that teams get from our turnovers, if that makes sense. Because it was pretty much the same sort of thing that happened in the West Ham game. But I just thought, I was like, oh shit, West Ham, they're getting too much opportunity. I didn't feel the same with Newcastle today, and I don't think there were that much difference in the level of the two teams, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. So, Sean.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through individual goals, right? So, if I can find it, where are you? Okay, let's go with the first. Was it the first goal? No. Udogie's the first goal. Right. Talk us through the first goal then.
You know, that was
Son.
The Son's work on the left cannot be. I mean, he had Trippier on toast,
yes.
and you can see Trippier panicked once Son had got into the box, and he a couple of times he put his foot out and then realised, no, if I go in there, I'm going to bring him down and it's going to get a penalty. But the positioning of the cross was just fabulous. And I loved the Udogie just tapping it away. I did predict he would score in the previous show, so
you did.
It was great to see, and you could see that he just seemed to grow in confidence from there. Udogie, I think he realises that it's a part he's got to play as a goal scorer. He certainly did it for Udinese last year.
Yeah.
So that was just a perfect Ange goal down to the byline. I kept saying it yesterday. Down to the byline and cut the ball back. It gives you an option. You either go across the 6-yard box, or you put it to the back of the penalty area, and you have a player running in to just knock it in. So fantastic, typical Ange goal. So happy for Udogie, and so happy for the team, because it seemed to lift. Well, I don't know. Obviously, the stadium must have, the roof must have nearly come off.
It was, honest to God, that atmosphere today was immense, man. It was just buzzing, absolute buzzing. I can't just, I can't describe it. Every single player, the fans were behind every player, singing Angie's song, standing ovations for substitutions. It was, honestly, I could talk and talk and talk. I would just love it to carry on talking. Sam, anything to add on the first goal before we move on to the second one?
Yeah, again, what Newcastle, probably they might not have expected Son to play on the left today, and that was there. So from a tactical perspective, they would normally be doubling up, because when we see Son not effective is when he gets doubled up upon. So they left Trippier isolated, and he knows him well. He mentioned in the post-match press conference that they're very good friends. He cooked him. He absolutely cooked him, because Son is both-footed. He's a two-footed player. He's the most two-footed player we've got in our team. He can go to the byline, as Sean was saying yesterday. We both was alluding to it. That's the way Ange plays. So now what Trippier didn't know was whether he's going to cut inside and do his curler, which he normally does, or go to the byline. He was in a problem, and that problem was allowed Son to just get. And what they didn't do is they didn't help until too late to double up on Son. So yeah, fair play to him. Great finish by the Doji, and I'm happy with seeing goals like that, which is what we want to see more of.
Yeah. So let's talk about this goal number 2 and the man that is Mr. Richarlison. Let me just give you my point of view. I think Richarlison today done everything and more. He played that number 9 role like a 5 pence going into a slot machine. It was perfect. He's playing off, running into space. But what impressed me the most, the defending that he done. And I think there was one in this, was it in the first or the second half, where it was in our own half, he's won the tackle and then he set up a move. I think he, for a player who was injured, who's been getting a lot of slack, I think he was outstanding today, and he deserved both his goals today. What did you think of his performance and his first goal?
The first goal, just remind me how that first goal went again, because I remember his second goal.
It was Son again that cut it back to him, and he just bobbed it into the net.
Oh yeah. From close range, wasn't it? That was a close range one, wasn't it? Apart from the I thought Richarlison. What Richarlison gives you is our number 9. Is we always know about his work rate, so that's always going to be the case. He's going to be chasing it. So we didn't want to pay for a £65 million chaser and harrier. Now he's getting his goals. As I said before, it's all about confidence with this player. It's emotions. You saw when he scored, the emotion that came out of him. It's almost like, yeah, I've done it. And I would have liked him to have probably stayed on to get his hat-trick, because he could have possibly got his hat-trick today. But obviously, maybe just coming back from injury. As you said, the goal, Son's contribution cannot be underestimated today. 100%. But Richarlison, I'm glad he's got it. I think if they play that system, he can only play in a 9 now. That's the problem. We can't really put him on the left or right, because I don't think he's going to be as effective, and I don't think he actually wants to play there, regardless of what he says in the press.
I think I agree with you. And the problem we've got as well is with Sonny going in January for a month, he's going to have to take that slot. Sean, what did you think of... Talk us through the first goal. Obviously, we sort of went through it just now. And overall, Richarlison, I think...
Oh, Richie's first goal, absolute class. I was getting pelters in the pub because I said he scuffed it. But when you look again, he actually lifts the ball quite smoothly. Yes. And puts it in the corner really, with his left foot, which is not his strongest foot. I thought he, and if you look back, he actually wins the ball in midfield.
Yes,
before it gets passed out to the left, and then he's just. I'm so happy for him. He looks like a weight has been lifted off his shoulder. That operation was obviously really, really desperately needed. He's running. He's much more fluid. He was, I said that yesterday. If he was playing, he would get amongst them, and he would cause mischief. And I think Lascelles and Shropshire couldn't really deal with Richie, and I thought he had an extra. For me, he was man of the match, but I believe it was given to Son from Sky. But
Son,
Son got it from Sky. Yeah. But it was for me. It was Richarlison was man of the match. I think Tottenham gave it to. I think the Tottenham fans who voted on the social media channels gave it to Richarlison. But I thought Richarlison was excellent today. I mean, at points I saw him harrowing their defenders, and he's looking over his shoulder saying, "Where the hell are the rest of you?" He was even particularly in the second half when I thought Son was dragging his feet. I felt Son had run himself into the ground at parts of the second half, but. Yeah, flowers to Richarlison today, and I hope it's a sign of more goals to come. But he's definitely going to have to play through the middle.
And then, obviously, I think that first half was probably one of the best first halves I've seen us play in terms of creating and just smoking them. every time we went up top, and like you guys said, battling, winning the balls. If they were losing it, we was coming back, hurrying them, pressuring them, winning it back, and we're going again. And then second half, Richarlison gets that ball, scores the goal. That freaking pass by Pedro Porro. Do you know what? Some of them passes, we'll talk about Pedro Porro later. Richarlison's second goal, what a finish. What a close control and finish. That, to me, looks like a striker. It doesn't look like a striker who's not scored for Spurs with his feet. That looked like a striker who's on form. And what a finish it was, Sam.
Yeah, the first touch, they were trying, again, this is commentary for you. Was it Gary Neville trying to actually say that the actual touch was not the best touch in the world? If you actually look at it, that touch, if it didn't go slightly to the left, he wouldn't have scored, because he had to go slightly to the left for him to make the angle on the shot. So I think it was a brilliant touch. And whether he meant it or not, it was a brilliant touch. I think he meant it because, like I said, it had to go there for him to make that effort. That's why I'm looking at those little bits, and that's the confidence that we need from Richarlison. Now, to keep that confidence for him, you've got to play him through the middle. And I think Postecoglou knows that. If you put him back onto the left, I think that's going to be thinking, yeah, I'm in the team, but I'm not playing in my position. I've just scored 2 goals. Play him down. That same front three has to stay in that position. The only as I said now, Kulusevski, because in my opinion, Kulusevski's been playing well, almost as well as Porro in his last few weeks. Some people may disagree, and I don't think he can be dropped from the team, because in that number 8, number 10 position, he's brilliant as well. Don't sleep on him in that position. He's fantastic today.
Yeah, and I'll put the 4th goal up anyway, but I think Sonny deserved the goal, because some of the things Sonny was doing today, like we said, already mentioned it, going down the byline, interlinking play, making runs. Although I still feel that when we broke on him 3-on-1, I think it was, he made the wrong choice. He tried to do it all on his own down the middle when Udogie was on the left crying for the ball, and I think he got fouled in, and we got a free kick. I think that was the only little slight thing negative I can say. He could have passed it up quicker, but I think he deserved it. He won that penalty. He stepped it up, buried it. So, question to you two then. We've been saying all last couple of weeks, front three have to step up, front three have to step up, front three have to step up. Did they step up today?
Well, I think the stats speak for themselves. I mean, Johnson is very unlucky. He had 2 shots which rattled the post. Particularly that one in the second half, I was already up in the air when it came flying out and off to the byline. But I thought they all did really well. I thought Johnson was a terror to Newcastle all afternoon. He was, particularly in the first half, he had their left back on toast. More of that, please, Brennan. I mean, if you want to talk about bad touch, Son's for touch, which was a bad touch, was one that he managed to conspire to get a penalty out of. So, that goes to show that sometimes a bad touch becomes a good touch. And I agree with you, Sam. When you look at that touch from Richarlison for his goal, I want to go back to Richarlison, but I want to give the boys flowers today. It's actually a touch which actually makes that goal. Because exactly. Dubravka's coming straight at him, and he has to check, and that's only because the touch has gone slightly to the left, and it allows, Richarlison to nutmeg him even better. Just loved it, and you can see the interaction between Richarlison and the South Stand was just perfect. A really nice point of the afternoon, definitely.
And let me just add to that, Sam, before you come on. And the thing was, I forgot my chain of thought now. I was going to say something about, Richarlison? Carry on, Sam. I've lost my chain of thought.
Okay, so for me, the other massive plus today was having, obviously we've talked about it earlier, Johnson on the right, and we thought could have been Kulusevski on the left, but we also discussed yesterday with Son. Now, the beauty of having Son and Johnson on both those areas, as opposed to Kulusevski and Johnson, is they can both, in terms of Son and Johnson, once they've gone past the player, they're not being caught. Very, very rarely are they being caught. On numerous occasions, Kulusevski get caught, and that's why he has to jink and be so tricksterish.
Yeah.
But Kulusevski only has to beat one man, usually in the position that he plays when he's infield, and then he can be more creative. He can either get a shot for goal or play the pass. When he's having to beat a man on the wide area, he's having to do it because usually he might even double up on him as well. That was a brilliant call by Postecoglou today. Now, what's going to have to see is that going to work away from home? Is that going to work away from home to someone like Brighton, who also want to keep the ball, where we may have to be a little bit further back? Are they going to be disciplined enough to play that? Son, I think, definitely will be. Johnson, in his Forest days, was, but I think he makes more mistakes defensively than we've probably seen, that I've seen him make at Forest. But that's probably just due to the fact he's at Spurs and it's a higher echelon. But yeah, it's going to be interesting away from home what we do with this lineup.
This is it. And it's Forest on Friday as well. So it's Johnson going back to his former club. That was what I was going to say. That first half when Johnson hit the post, everybody in Paxton Road End, we all thought he went in. Everybody was like up the field, and then he went, oh, it's not it. No. Everyone thought he had scored. But touching up on just what you said, the front three today, I think were outstanding. Everything they'd done it was just like they were just synced and they were up for it. That interview on Thursday, and I keep going back to it, when Son said it was not acceptable, it was poor, and Postecoglou said the same. Obviously they've gone in, they've sat down, and they've discussed it, because today the levels was just different. And obviously Kulusevski in that number 10 role, man, is just that mask as well, the mask of Zorro. You know what I mean? If he scores now, he needs to do that Zorro thing. He's just turning. I agree with you. He's had a good game all season, but there's been lacking little bits in that. But today, honestly, and one thing else I want to touch up on, guys, the intricate playing today, the back heels, the flips, and the way they were just, I think they were just taking the piss out of some of the Newcastle players. I know it wasn't, but some of the passing, it was just, like I said to you, they were all telepathic and they were on the same level. Some of the things they were doing, I'm like, wow. Because as soon as you've done the black flick and whatever, the next Tottenham player was already there to pick the ball up and move around and stuff like that. So we've done the midfield, including Basuma. Let's talk about Udogie and Pedro Porro. Udogie first. What did you think of his performance? Obviously, he scored again. Sean?
His first goal for us, actually. Goal for us. So, yeah, he was perfect. I mean, he's I think, as Sam's alluded to already, his defensive analysis is improving game by game. But he is just he's so effective when he goes forward. No, they can't really deal with him. His movement, his power. He's just what a wonderful signing he's proving to be. I'm so happy with him. And we've already given him his flowers as the best left back in the Premier League. I wouldn't swap.
Say that again.
He's the best left back. We're not going to use the word. I don't want the word. I don't want our platform to get taken down by too many F-bombs. You have to be careful. But yeah, I mean, he's just a brilliant addition to our squad. I do feel that we need a backup to him though. When we're squad planning further down the road. But yeah, he's such a useful. I mean, I would never thought that we would play 2-3-2-3, or when we were in an attack, and it's just as Sam says, he's like a midfielder but who plays left back. Brilliant.
Yeah. What did you think, Sam, of Destiny's performance today?
I think probably one of his best performances. I think again, just going back to probably the start of the game, Postecoglou's messages probably never are, it's a must-win game, you must do this. But I think this is probably very much, we're not losing today. You have to go out and win this game. I can't imagine any manager says, it doesn't matter if you don't win. I don't think that happens. But definitely, I remember seeing them old Jose clips when he was saying, whatever happens, we're going to win today. And this is what I think his attitude summed up that. Because when he scored, his fist pump, his whole energy levels was like 5-10% higher. I think he did one miss error today in a pass, but it wasn't critical, and I think he was trying to make up for it as well. But he's just recovery. He can get from that inside position back out into that fullback position better than a lot of players can do in world football because of his pace and power. And that's, you're right. If we have an injury to him, there's two dimensions that we're going to struggle in, both from an attack perspective and a defensive perspective. So Davis isn't the man for filling that, and we don't know what Sessegnon's going to be like. So he, again, needs to stay fit and stay on the pitch. Can't get him sent off too often either.
And this is what I keep saying. He is ideal replacement for Kyle Walker. And Man City, Pep Guardiola, I don't care what people say, he'll be taking notes because he is Kyle Walker in the making with his pace, his tackling and everything. And I can see Guardiola thinking, you know what? In a couple of years' time, mate, like with Kyle Walker, I'm going to have you. I'm going to have you, mate. I'm gonna have you.
Different position, though. Kyle Walker's right-sided. I would say he's left-sided predominantly because he's left-footed as well, isn't he?
I meant like in the sense of like a Kyle Walker.
But no, we can't let. If we ever do that, that's, we're not a selling club. We don't have to sell.
Exactly.
There's no way.
And they need a left back because they played Guardiola today as a left back. So you know what I mean.
He fits their system perfect.
Yeah,
he would be
exactly. I want to talk about this guy, Pedro Porro. What a performance today! What outstanding player! For one, I think you guys might. I don't know. When he first started, there was grumbles about him. Oh, he's crap. Then he got dropped, obviously, and then Postecoglou came in and he's transformed him. Some of the passing, I mean, the 2 passes he's done for the goals today, but some of the passing, some of the crosses, he's getting there. His stamina, his passion. I gave him man of the match today because in the stadium today, I think he did not put a foot wrong. He was outstanding. And did you see after that, when was it Richarlison's goal when he passed it? Did you see his reaction? Straight to Postecoglou and jumped on him. He went straight to Postecoglou, giving it like that, and he jumped on him. What did you guys make of his performance today? Sam.
Oh,
I'll come to you first.
All right, then, well, I'll be brief on Porro. I watched him in his Sporting Lisbon days. I saw his ability, his passing range, what he was doing. The only problem that we had when he was with us is he was confidence, just coming to a new country, asked to play a wing-back role in a team that was pretty much a defensive team. Defending is not his strong point. However, the position what he finds himself when he can cross a ball, he can go on the outside, he can cross from infield, he's got a good dead ball situation. That pass he made for Richarlison is pinpoint accuracy. As I said, in this mini bad run that we've had, I think he's been probably the best, most consistent player that we've had, and certainly one of our most creative players that we've had. And if he continues on that same path, we have to be worried about both our fullbacks because he fits, again, a lot of systems. If he can continue improving on his defensive side of things, which he's doing, that's all I'm going to say.
And
we've got good fullbacks.
That pass, sorry, Sean, before I come to you, that pass, if that would have been played by Kevin De Bruyne or David Silva or Bernardo Silva, wouldn't that have been in commentary? Oh, from Gary Neville. Yeah, because that was on a sixpence. What a pass. Sean, you're on mute as well, Sean.
I'm not on mute. I am perfectly loud and clear. How dare you? How very dare you? Porro, what an example of a player who's been coached. Let's not have it any other way. Postecoglou and his team, and he shares that responsibility through the team. So it will be Wells, who does the defensive stuff, has made that guy a perfect forward. He's been to Manchester City. Manchester City had him and sold him. Yep. So that too late, you had your chance. Get lost. You doggy will want a 3-figure million sum. You know how Pep hates parting with 100 million. Yeah. 100+ million. So no, your doggy's not going to Man City, don't you worry. I will say Pep's gone before your doggy goes to Man City. So no, Porro, absolutely brilliant. He's made that position his own. I thought he would not be the fullback. I have to say I thought Emerson would have been our fullback, but he's made that position his own. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? He's improved defensively. Credit the coaching, but his contribution when we go forward. It cannot be underestimated. Fantastic. And he likes to have a shot too. He's not afraid to have a shot. So
exactly.
Do
you not think? Can I ask you both a question? Do you not think? And I've seen this, and I've seen this in a couple of points before when they both played on that side together. I think that combination partnership of Porro and Johnson on that right hand side could be absolutely phenomenal if they continue. Because I know Kulusevski was doing that job on the right, but it was a different. It meant Porro had to play slightly differently, in my opinion. Johnson, it gives you so much directness that if you got both of them, it's going to create a lot of problems because Johnson going to look like he's going to go one way. If he's going to go off, the defender will have to go with him. He could then cut it back. Porro's in that open space, in that kind of like inside area, and that's where we're getting some really good options from. Balls into that brilliant corridor, as they say, of uncertainty for goalkeepers. Yes.
Do you know what? They're both on the same level, aren't they? When Porro's got the ball, Johnson's looking for it, and as soon as he's played it to him, Porro's gone again because he wants to overlap him if he can, or he wants to go inside, like you said. I agree with you. If them two hit it off, boy, they're going to cause some left backs and left wingers some proper grief.
The other question I'm going to ask both of you then is that going to cause us some potential midfield headaches going forward? And I mentioned that because, as I said, I think Kulusevski playing in that midfield area, particularly for home games, I'm not so sure about away from home, so I don't know what he's, in terms of like really having to go back into our defensive quarters, is going to be like. But certainly from a number 8 perspective, I think he's really good. But then Lo Celso, I can't take Sarr out of the team, and then I don't think he's going to take Bissouma out. There's a little bit of a dilemma, and then obviously when Benson, not a bad dilemma, a great dilemma, but Benson coming up, Maddison, obviously Maddison goes straight back in. But we've now got a little bit of competition when we've got all our strength in midfield. So I don't think midfield's a problem area for us, to be honest with you.
I agree. And guess what? It's a good problem to have for Postecoglou, isn't it? It's a very good problem to have because when you've got them all fit and raring to go, it's going to be a jigsaw for him to say, right, how do I do it? And it's going to be a really, really good problem to have. And all the other clubs can just sit back and think, why wouldn't if I have them problems to have a midfield of them lot creating and playing like that? Because when they're all fit, oh my God, it's going to be frightening. Absolutely frightening. I agree. Sean, you want to add anything on to that?
Yeah, I mean, how often have we been complaining about the lack of depth in our bench?
Yeah.
I mean, let's have it straight. If you've got those to choose from, I'm more than happy with most of our midfield. Maddison's got, at the moment, Kulusevski's doing what Maddison was doing. We don't know when Maddison's coming back, so let's persevere. Let's persevere.
Oh,
so would you not play him over Lo Celso then? So we're gonna have to play Sarr, and it's assumed we're gonna have to play Bissouma. Would you play him more often than not than Gio Lo Celso at the moment? Because I think you have to get Kulusevski in the team. I think you have to get Kulusevski in the team because you can do both things with him. You can put him to the wide area, and you can play. You can't do the same with Lo Celso. So that's.
I think Kulu gets in ahead of Lo Celso at the moment.
There you go. I agree. Then
I think I love Lo Celso, but I think he. He's Kulu just gives us so much more. He has his build. He doesn't get off. Get shoved off the ball. Lo Celso, when he came on, did get shoved off the ball a couple of times today, and you can see why Andrew's gone with Kulusevski in the 8 stroke.
It makes more physical because we've got more physical. Because he's what 6'1", 6'2", Kulusevski. Lo Celso's not that. He's what 5'8", 5'9", whatever that will be. You got more physical presence. Sarr's got that athletic, and also he's getting more physical. Basuma's got that anyway. So again, with those three, just so those three is an option, it means you can then afford to then bring on Lo Celso when you want to chase the game, because I think he can do that. You said that before, Sean. You can bring on a Pierre Højbjerg to maybe control the game in certain times of the game when you're not having to really chase and you want to control it. And then Skip can, Skip's going to have to fill in where he needs to fill in from a substitution perspective. So yeah, we're back on a little bit of a road to recovery. I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet, but we're on a road to recovery.
And the other thing
I have to say, I thought Skip's contribution from the bench was good today. Although obviously he missed that chance, but that was, he just come on and it was, the keeper was right on top of him by the time the ball got down. So I'm not going to hold that against him. I thought he's energetic. He passed the ball quickly. He looked forward. Yeah. That's probably good enough. He's not a starter, but he's definitely a squad player. And I'd have him. To be honest, I'd have him over Højbjerg.
Well,
that's just me. That's just me.
And the other thing you're talking about the GLC Kulusevski difference. I saw a different side of Kulusevski today. I saw a very angry, as in going for the ball, making challenges. I've never seen that side of Kulusevski before. He was very aggressive and I loved it because he was giving it to them, pushing them, shoving them, everything. And I'm like, wow, this guy today.
He suffered a broken nose from that elbow.
Yeah.
So I'd be pissed off as well because nothing happened with that elbow. Remember, nothing happened. That was late on in the game. So, and I said, that's what I'm saying about Kulusevski. I'm sure he's 6'2". He's a big lad anyway. Yeah. You've seen from the goal that he scored against Man City, he's got that physical presence in the box to get in there and do that. I've not seen the Celso score a goal like that. I don't think we ever will see the Celso score a header like that. We'll also, as we said, we can do other things. If you watch the game today, and I'm going to rewatch it back, but I saw Kulusevski pop up on that right-hand side in the position that he would normally play, but he'd also do that on the left-hand side as well. And all that sort of arc in between those areas, he was there. And because all he has to do is to beat one person, and he's in. It's good signs. It's good signs. Let's leave it to the manager.
Absolutely. It's like I said to you, it's a good problem to have. It's a very good problem to have, and long may it continue. Right. So we've obviously need to discuss two more players. I think Ben Davies did great tonight. He can't put a foot wrong. Some of his, when we was doing that usual at the back, passing it to him, he was finding the players. He was always looking for Son or Johnson, and he was bending it around and he was making it simple and quick. I can't fault him, guys.
There were points in the second half where he was carrying the ball forward.
That's right.
And making us, and finding a player on the edge of their box. So, I mean, Ben Davies to me, gets his flowers. As I did say, no one really deserved, any slack or slagging for today. But Ben Davies, solid performance against some tricky individuals. I do notice that we're skirting around his partner. Partner in events.
Can we talk about him, Sean? Sorry, Sam. Thoughts on Davies?
I think we have to talk about something.
We do.
We will.
I'll lead into that from Ben Davies.
I did say at the start of the show I have two really annoying things, and one of them was.
So I'm going to lead into
Romero
from Ben Davies.
There's a lot of people in the comment section as well. I've got a lot. I've seen a lot of things about Romero as well.
So Ben Davies, as I said to you before, he's a great professional to have in our club. I think he's played as well as he can play in terms of what he can do for us in terms of his limited ability physically and also from just a technical perspective. He's not a bad player. He's a good player. I try to make this analogy, whether it works or not. Van der Ven's like a Rolls Royce and he gets to 100 miles per hour and he's comfortable. Ben Davies is like a Mini Cooper. He can get to 100 miles an hour, but the engine's really revving. So he's at his limits in terms of what he's doing, but he's doing it well and he'll always be able to do it. The problem we've now got in leading into the Romero thing is Romero, I think, when Van der Ven's playing, has got more of a calmness about him because I think he's more assured in the sense of he knows he's the main defender in the club in the terms of the back four, but he's also got lieutenant in terms of Van der Ven, who's an equal, and he's the calming influence that he knows he can rely on. I don't think he's quite got the confidence with any other player that plays alongside him because we've seen that from last season. So for me, he does rash things. He gets overly aggressive in the game. Why is he doing that? Particularly when we're winning so comfortably. That can only be a mental thing. And the only thing mentally I can think is, why would someone be at that? Because he wasn't, we always giving him in praises when Van de Ven was there saying, oh, he's brilliant. Oh, he's much better. He's lost that kind of like. And then the Chelsea game came and it was all like, my God, I know we got sent off before that as well, but the Chelsea game came and it's like, oh my God, he's lost his head. And now I've just seen that aggression come back and those unnecessary moments in games which could really have cost us had it been certain circumstances. I don't want to see this player get sent off, but then you can't change his game too much. So my takeaway on that and my final thoughts are, we just need to get him back comfortable in terms of the same for Basuma. Basuma needed to have Sarr back alongside him to make him a better player. I think Romero's the same. He needs to have a player alongside him who he's not saying he's not confident in Davies, but right, I can trust him he can get me out of trouble. I don't think Romero thinks that the other players are going to get him out of trouble.
So Sean, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Right, and obviously I know. Sorry, I'm just gonna charge my laptop. I know you were saying that you wanted, there was two things that you wanted to talk about, and I know that was one of them. So, do you agree with Paul then, or not? Is Romero a liberty? I wondered why Atlanta would let the voted best centre back go. I know why now. Do you think now that this red mist side of him has to be taken out of him by Postecoglou and the defensive team at Spurs, because it's gonna at some point, it's already cost us this season against Chelsea. Is this going to be a continuous thing that needs to be dealt with?
He is very lucky that he got a yellow card quickly, because I think that was a terrible challenge.
It's terrible.
He took both ankles. Yeah. And he deserved a red card. I'm sorry, he deserved a red card every day and twice on Sunday. That was a terrible challenge, and he needs to get it out of it. Now, Postecoglou has said in his press conferences, and you can't take it out of him. But I'm not gonna have a word with him. He needs to have a word with him. We don't know when Van de Ven is coming back.
Yeah.
If we lose Romero, we're back to Royale and Davis, and I don't want to be playing like a Brighton with those two. That was shocking. The thing was, it marred what was a perfectly good performance by Kuti, but it really stuck in my throat that he could have jeopardised us. It's bad enough that we conceded the goal, which is the other thing I want to talk about. But that was a terrible, terrible challenge. And do you know what? It became really spiteful at the end. Did you notice the interchange between Vicario and Wilson?
That was funny as hell.
It was funny. Obviously, there was some verbals going on. And I think the trouble is, when it gets verbal, Romero just doesn't walk away. He doesn't walk away.
Yeah,
and he knows that they're gonna needle him. He needs to know when it's controlled aggression we need. And sometimes he crosses the line. And today he definitely crossed the line. He's a very, very lucky boy.
So Romero's that sort of mate. Sorry, Sid. Romero's that sort of mate that you want to have on a night out when you've had a few drinks. You might get into a bit of trouble with some other people, and you say, "Wait there, Mum. You wait. I'm going to get my mate," because he's the sort of person that he don't matter. He won't even ask no questions. He's going to shoot first and ask questions afterwards. Unfortunately, the type of player that he is, whether that's the Latin, South American type thing, that's his game, is as much as that's how he plays. Now, I agree with what you're saying. Postecoglou will have a word with him in private. There's no way that he will say to that guy, he's a big enough manager to say, listen, that situation there, you get sent off, that's a 4-game ban. Not 3, that's a 4-game ban. Into the Christmas period when games are back to back to back, that will be so much more costly than if it was in January. So he has to stay on the pitch over this period because the games are literally every other day or whatever it would be. I don't want to see Emerson Roard and Davis at the back either against teams like Brighton. And even Bournemouth. Bournemouth are a bloody good team as well.
Yeah. I mean, this need to consider selling Kuti if a decent bid comes in. I don't think we should sell him. No. I don't think so. I think it just needs a bit of man management. Someone to have a word with him. maybe Son, maybe maybe Maddison, or like you said, it's got to come from the manager or the coaching staff, and they need to say to him.
I will give him that little bit of leeway just because of the fact of Van der Ven. Now, I'm not going to say he's a kid now and say, oh, you can have until Van der Ven comes back to do what you want. No, but I'm going to give him the same sort of leeway that I gave to Basuma in terms of why I think he's not quite doing the right things. Yeah, he's a massive difference when he's got the Van der Ven next to him. And we've seen that difference in terms of our defensive unit anyway.
Right. So, quickly, what did you make of the substitutions? I think Saw and Richarlison were going to happen because both weren't fully fit. I know there was a lot of fans in the stadium like, wow, why are you taking them to off? I think they were both coming back from injuries, and I think they'd run their course, and I think we'd won the game, and Postecoglou just wanted them to have a little bit of a breather before Friday's game. And then I think the rest of the substitutions, I think it was well managed by our manager. Any arguments with the substitutions, guys?
Well, I was surprised Richie came off on 2 goals with a possibility of a third. I'm sure he would have wanted to take the penalty if he was still off the field. You know what I mean? So that was a surprise. But no, I think Dorrington got his win bonus. I'm sure. I like to see, I like to see academy players get on the field. So
Donnelly, not Dorrington.
Yeah. Donnelly, sorry, Donnelly. Dorrington maybe should have come on for Romero, but anyway, we'll go down that way. But anyway, I have no problems with that. The only substitution I have a problem with is Højbjerg, and it leads to my other point, which is he gave away the ball that gave them their goal. And I'm not having us acting as Santa Claus for fucking football teams coming to White Lane. He was fucking dreadful. What was he trying to do?
You don't like Højbjerg. You've gone.
No, Højbjerg can get to fuck as far as I'm concerned. He did nothing. We should have been closing out that game at 4-0, and we gave away a cheap goal.
You sound like...
And it's the difference between plus 11 and plus 10.
No, but the thing is, Sean, I agree with you, right? And in hindsight, don't you think, right? And I think he's got a point here, David Clark. At 4-0, right? Why don't you take off Romero, bring on Dorrington for 5 minutes? And secondly, you can keep Basuma on the pitch. You could have brought Skip on. Yeah. Højbjerg didn't need to come on. And I think there was a lot of rumbles in the stadium as well when they saw his name come on. They were like, why? I don't think he needed to come on. And I didn't realize that he'd given the ball away for that 4th goal. Good job my boy didn't see it, because he would have gone freaking mental. And if that's the case, Sean, I agree with you.
Do you know what?
4-0 up.
Me and my 2 friends in the pub looked at the video several times because we thought that Ben Davies is going to take all the brickbats for that goal. And it wasn't in. It was not on him. It was on Højbjerg trying to be Andrew Pirlo when he's bloody not even work. He couldn't even lace that guy's boots. And what was he trying to do?
And the thing is,
ridiculous.
We're finding.
It annoys me. It annoys me. 4-0. 4-0. And we're going to 4-1.
4-0.
Look at our goal difference compared to everyone else around us.
And the other thing, Sean, we're struggling to keep clean sheets. This would have been a massive confidence booster, especially for the defense.
You go into Friday feeling like 15 foot tall.
Exactly, I agree with you, because that they were never ever going to score, and we've given it to them on a plate. I agree with you, Sean. I totally agree, and I hope Vicario keeps
Christmas
it out of him
time,
later as well.
Christmas time, going to get a goal.
Yeah.
After the 2 goals against West Ham.
You two are funny. You sound like Sean sounds like when you had your GLC hatred, Sid. When you couldn't stand GLC, you just couldn't stand his face. Sam, I remember that.
You're 2-3 minutes away from a clean sheet, which you
deserve. I agree. I 100%.
A ridiculous pass that was never on. Kick it into the stand if necessary.
And this is what I was saying about protection for the back four and for other players. Because that in that situation, he's never going to be able to recover. I can't remember the exact incident. But anyway, regardless, I know that happens a lot. And when Basuma does it, we're in trouble. When Højbjerg does it, we get in trouble. There is a place for Højbjerg in this team, but only for bit parts. He's not a starter.
No.
And you can't bring him on to change the game dynamically to win it. So what he does do is he's almost that in between, that almost like a controller. He's almost becoming like the Sissoko. Remember when Sissoko got into his days and he was conducting? That's what he's becoming now. He's a conductor because he's got the experience, but it's only limited in time because he's going to do something like that because he's I don't think his head's in this team now. I've seen every single time I've been to a home game, I've watched when the others are going to applaud, he's walked off down the tunnel. That doesn't mean to say he doesn't care, but it does show me he's not quite together with all the others. So I think his head's thinking, January, if there's an opportunity, maybe I'm gone. That's why I like players like That's why I like players like Skip, because at least with Skip, he's going to play for the team.
But you know what? I think Davy Clark's got a point here as well. V West Ham, it was 1-1 when Udagi passed the ball back, so Højbjerg cost us goal difference, whereas Udagi cost us the game. Very valid point.
That's a valid point.
In a tight Premier League, goal difference is worth a point.
Yeah, but Sean, he cost us the game.
4-0.
He cost us the game. Yeah. And just to cheer you up, but Sean, guess what? We have Højbjerg will be starting when Boos and Saar go to AFCON. So there you go.
No, we won't.
Get ready.
Not
get
a
ready.
chance.
Dinosaur put a question in there for you boys if you want to answer it, yeah? Put it up for you. Nice. Ericsson could be available in January. Would you want him as a Madison stroke squad cover? No. I wouldn't. No.
Those days are gone.
Days are well gone. Gone.
Yes.
Finished.
Agreed.
Gone. See you later. No
Agree.
chance.
Once bitten, twice shy.
The time to take him was when he'd done his 6 months at Brentford.
Yeah.
Not
now.
Absolutely.
He's damaged. He's damaged from that Man United experience.
Of course. They're all damaged.
I don't even think we should take Reguilon back because I think he's going to be damaged when he comes back as well.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Right, guys. So, great win. Rampant win. We wanted that. We was calling for a change. We was calling from the front three. We got all of that today and more from the midfield and the defense. Great performance against I don't care, injury-stricken Newcastle or not. That team that Eddie Howe put out can beat any team on their day because they had some quality players in there, right? They had some good players in there. And they've done it. They've won games before. I don't care if they've got injuries. We've got injuries. Everyone else has got injuries. However, you can only beat the team that's put out in front of you. So, good performance for me. We're back on track. We needed a good performance at home because we've not won for 3-4 games. And I think today was another massive, step in the right direction.
Address that. Hard to feel sorry for a club with 400 billion in the bank. Get lost, Newcastle. Suck it up. We've had the same issues.
Exactly. So, final thoughts, guys. Sum it up, final thoughts. And
Sky Sports.
What do we do going into Friday's game? Sean?
We recover and we go again.
Simple as that.
We focus on the back line and the front line. I want clean sheets now because I'm sick and tired of us giving presents away.
It's Christmas time.
I'm giving you a BBC News response to that.
He's spiky today. He's spiky today. You should not have mentioned Højbjerg. That's what I remember. I just remember. Don't you remember last year and the years gone by, Sean? You used to say
Højbjerg pre-World Cup last year was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Post-World Cup and since then, he's been an absolute shambles of a player.
Is that right then, Sean? We want clean sheets, no stains.
No stains, yes. Stains in Middlesex, yeah.
Over to you.
As I said, a performance that was needed. The result was needed more so than the performance, but I thought we would get both today because, as I said, we've been consistent in our performances, apart from the Wolves game, which I thought was our worst performance of the season so far. We now have to go into the next game against my hometown, Forest, which I can't even get away tickets to go to see. I wish I could, but I'm not. And again, I think in terms of getting a team at the right time. I think Forest is probably the right time to get them. They're in that sort of stage. They want to support their manager, but he's now caught in, do I go for it at home, or do I go back to what he had to do last season? He went back to a back five, I think, and started to play very defensively, and they managed to grind their way out. We're going to play in the same way, and we're going to have lots and lots of opportunities against Forest. We need to take our opportunities, and if we do, it could be a very similar type of result. It unfortunately could be the result that maybe even get Steve Cooper his P45. Dare I say? I don't know, but I'm hoping. I don't care if he does, because that means we'd have won by a convincing margin. So good performance, and let's roll on to Friday.
Yeah, all I can say is, as they say in that film, do it again, Ange. Just do it again. Keep it as it is. Keep the same formation as the players did.
Don't start PEH.
Same performance.
Apologies for my acrimony, but I wanted 4-0. I wanted 4-0, and as soon as I saw that,
absolute. No, that's fine. So 4-1. Spurs back to winning ways. Are we level on points with City now? Yes, we are.
We are. No. We have 3 points behind City.
We're still 3 behind City.
The league table is Liverpool 37, Arsenal 36, Villa 35, City 33, and us on 30. Manchester United on 27.
There we go. So at least, we're back to winning ways. Some people now will be thinking,
you've now comforted me, Sam, because I've just seen United's goal difference is 0.
Oh, United's goal difference is terrible. Even funnier is Chelsea. Chelsea's 0. Man United's -3. That's this.
And then, that's true.
Yeah. And Pochettino wants more money now, doesn't he? I want more money to buy players. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming on. Everyone in the comment section, thank you very much for joining us after this massive win for us today.
How embarrassing for Chelsea. Bloody Everton would have been above them on 23 points had they not had 10 points deducted. That's disgusting.
In it absolutely. If you
hell mend them.
Well done, Poch.
Aye.
Agent Poch.
Thanks for the memories.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone in your comment section, for all your comments. Thank you. If you already haven't subscribed to PRTvSpurs or
apologies for my outburst.
Smash the like button.
And a hello to THFC till I die.
Yeah, bird's eye view audits just found the channel, guys, at ATV COYS. Come on, PRTv.
Make sure you tell everybody, tell your friends.
Yeah,
like, subscribe, make sure you do all that.
Share this stream, even with my effing and blinding.
Go back and watch it from the beginning. Yes, and make sure you watch Sean's outburst about Højbjerg as well. So, yes. Right, so we move on to Friday. Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. Make sure you join us for the preview show. There will be a reaction show. Talking points midweek. I don't know, Sam.
Yeah, we'll try and do something because we ain't got games Friday. So
Friday.
Let's say, what day is it today? Sunday? Let's try and do Tuesday. Do Tuesday.
Potentially talking points on Tuesday.
Is Jodi in this week?
Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, I think she might not be available to do her show. So Monday or Tuesday, but Tuesday probably better for me.
Cool. Guys, have a great evening. Make sure you watch Match of the Day tonight to watch Spurs hammer Newcastle United. Sorry, Newcastle fans.
Alan Shearer. Oh,
Alan
yes,
Shearer,
please.
yeah. Where are you? Anton Deck, where are you? Yeah, because you thinking you blanked Tony Bellew on I'm a Celebrity the other night because you brushed over it when they beat you as well. So have a great evening. Have a great week. We look forward to Nottingham Forest away on Friday, guys and girls. Make sure you join us. As always, come on, you Spurs.
More developed, more developed.